Hi everyone, this is Mr. Ditalizzi, and this is a quick review of the use of interactive slidebooks as teaching resources. You may have also heard of these teaching resources as hyperdocs or interactive slideshows using Google Slides. For me, they are a very useful resource, and I'll just share some insights and a template that I tend to use with my classes. You can access my template in the description box to be able to make a copy for yourself. I'll start by saying that I certainly didn't invent this idea, but I have tried it over the last year and I've gained a little bit of insight as to how they might work and how they might not work. So let's have a look at the template that I provided here. On the first slide, this is how I would set out mine. Obviously, for your school and the way that you teach, you will set it up the way that you see fit. The key thing that I wanted to point you to was the idea of a key resource page. I found that this was a useful thing because the students could come back to it time after time, and especially if they are key resources that you tend to use over and over. So for instance, in my classes, we'll have a reading material, we'll have a Google Drive folder, I'll teach through the YouTube channel that you're on at the moment, and our Google Classroom. So it made sense for me to put links to these on the first couple of slides. Further to that, I'd have a unit overview that I would come back to again as well. So for instance, I could tell the students, we're on this part of the topic and we're going to move through as we go. A key learning I made was to have a contents page that had quick links to the lessons that I taught, because after a while, the slide book actually becomes very long. In one of my classes, it was around 250 slides long. So having a contents page was really useful because the students can just click to where we are up to for that day. So a final idea that I thought would be useful to share is the idea of having sort of like a page that is your standard template for each lesson. And for each lesson of mine, the things that I thought would really be useful every day would be to have a back button to go back to the contents page, which is just simply an image with a link in it to a certain slide in the slideshow, a link to Google Classroom, and a link to YouTube as well. For our school and the way we teach, we have been encouraged to use the idea of learning intentions and success criteria. Your school may have different things that they'd like to see during each lesson, but for mine, it would be the syllabus point that I'm covering, the learning intention for the day, and what I expect to see from the students in terms of how they can judge their own success. So those are my key ideas on what might make up a useful slide book. I encourage you to try to use it yourself and see if it might make organizing your material easier and an easier access for the students. All the best.